When we visit the planet Geonosis in episode 2, we start to see sort of this very interesting world, and we get to understand who created the droids. And it was really a fascinating idea from George, where you have these very high-tech robots, and yet they're being created by a very primitive race. And so the design was really to take, okay, well, how do you create that? How do you contrast the two? Because it had the potential to create something visually very stunning, where you have sort of the society of this hive mentality of these insect type characters, and yet they're creating this very elaborate, almost cutting edge technology at this time, which are the droid army, and the factories that go into that.
We wanted this sense of chaos with the droid factory. Again, there was a really good pre-visualization that existed for that, but it had been cut up and rearranged in the editing process, and it kind of was a little bit confusing what was going on. So we actually took a group of our artists and we went to see a car factory here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we also went to a foundry over in the East Bay to take a lot of references and textures and photographs of real-looking stuff. A lot of the machinery and the conveyor belts that they're on are all computer graphics, but a lot of the world of the factory, all the distant things, are big miniatures that we made. Again, just trying to mix it up. The combination of all these real textures that we'd shot and then trying to plan, exactly what is going on here and what is really happening was all aimed to try and make it sort of feel a bit more real to the audience watching.
Our foundation is always research. We went and looked at all these different kinds of insect dwellings, ants, termites, and see what they would build. And all we do is we take that and exaggerate the scale. And so we really, for the Geonosans, we took the idea of termite dwellings and then started to really grow them in a way that was really fantastic and changing the scale quite a bit. And then what you do from there is then you start adding in bits of high technology. Like, for instance, the conference room of the Geonosans, where you see their high-tech war room. Everything's very organic on the outside. It's all like mud and rock. And it's the simplicity of merging those two iconic images that make the design very successful.
We're visiting a planet we've never seen before, so there's a little more freedom to kind of go off to create something interesting and different.
There's another big set piece, which is the big arena battle, the execution arena, where we see all these crazy creatures and monsters try to eat our heroes.
And then the Jedi show up and a big battle ensues. We have thousands of droids, hundreds of Jedi battling them. The Geonosans flee. The clone troopers show up. It's a giant free-for-all.
I'd taken some maps of this area and I drew a little diagram of what I thought the Battle of Geonosis would look like. So this happens here, this happens here, this happens here. I used that with the maps to say, okay, here's where I'm going to shoot this part of the battle and here's where I'm going to shoot that part of the battle. It worked out pretty well. I mean, there was great previs, and I really felt like, one of the satisfying parts of the experience was the previs guys, when they started seeing the shots, were just so happy with what we were coming up with.